Hare University students held a prayer session to commemorate the 23-year-old student that was brutally murdered off campus. It is alleged that the limbs of the deceased were found stuffed in a suitcase in Quigney in East London. A 25-year-old man, who is alleged to be the deceased's boyfriend, has been arrested for the murder. Police say a plastic bag with the deceased's body parts were also found in the house the two shared. He will appear in court on Monday. SABC News reporter Abongile Jantjies is following the story.
Greetings to you in studio and to the viewers. We're coming to you from East London, particularly the suburb of Quigney, where 40 student, 23-year-old Nosicelo Mtebeni was last seen. This is the house where she took her last breath. This is where she was dismembered by the suspect, who's currently in custody, in police custody, while feminists and women's rights activists, including students, are here to say not in our name. The university has since sent psychosocial support for the students who are affected by this and those who knew her. She was a final year law student, 23-year-old, hailing from Matatiela here in the Eastern Cape. With me, I do have the director of Masimanyane Women's Support International, Dr. Leslie Ann Foster. A very good day to you, Doc.
Good day to you, too.
We're in Women's Month. Once again, a brutal crime has been committed to a young, promising soul.
Yes, we are deeply saddened by the loss of yet another life, but we are outraged at the brutality of this murder and all other murders that happen. I mean, it's just horrific what we are seeing in our country and what in our city has particularly seen. And from time to time, particularly in Women's Month, we see an increase in the crimes and the brutality of the crimes against women and girl children. We need to change this. It is no longer an option. We need to change it. We need to increase all of the activism around it, the political will to make that happen, and all of the strategies. The National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence that the President signed off last year is a unique opportunity to change our country.
How far is it now, the Presidential Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence? How far is it in its work in curbing the spread of gender-based violence in the country?
There are coalitions of women's groups from around the country working on each of the pillars, and that at work is already advanced. It is working towards the establishment of the National Council on Gender-Based Violence, which is proposed by the Total Shutdown Campaign, and it will then be implemented by that council. But already the Department of Women, Children and People with Disabilities, the Department of Social Development, the NPA has made changes to laws recently. All of these institutions are working together to increase the responses to violence against women and girl children.
The effectiveness of this collaboration on the ground, how effective is it on the ground, where people are, where communities are, where society is? How effective are these strategies that are put in place?
The strategies that have been put in place have to be grounded in the local development processes. So they're going into the IDP and they will actually be given life in those. It's a process. It was only signed off last year and it was COVID and it's still COVID. So that process of grounding it at local level is gaining momentum, and in doing that we're going to have better responses. But we really have to hold the state to account first for ensuring the safety, the protection of women in all of our society and girl children. Of course, it's everybody, but women and girls are most likely to be killed just because of their gender. And those are the kinds of things that we are fighting for. But we also want to see that structural shift. Why are women's lives not valued in our society? Why do men feel that they can actually just take up, some kind of weapon, kill a woman, slice up her body? I mean, what is that? That kind of cruelty is just horrendous. But the cruelty of rape, the cruelty of incest, the cruelty of domestic violence, all all of that is something which the state, together with civil society, must eliminate. We can't live like this. We can't. We are killing ourselves off by allowing this violence to continue. It's important.
Shortly, Masimanyane is about to get into 25 years into existence. Would you say you have championed women's rights so far?
I absolutely believe that we've championed it. The fact that we've got legislation that has protected hundreds of thousands of women across the country in the last 20 years is important, and the Domestic Violence Act makes that possible. We have a Sexual Offences Act. We have a Minimum Sentencing Act. There are many things that we have achieved for women. Women have better standing at the table, as it were. They're moving into positions. They're taking up powerful positions. But it's not enough. We have to, it can't be some women. It must be all of women have that opportunity. And that's still a long way to go.
I thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, the suspect will appear in the East London Magistrates Court on Monday. These people who are behind me are expected to gather there to shout no bail, and the university says it's doing all it can to bring some social support to the students. Back to you in studio.